With the Republican frontrunner for the presidential nomination getting arrested all the time, Trump's subordinates in Congress are doing everything they can to try to help him out, including a plan to shift attention by impeaching the current president. In fact, today, Donald Trump publicly ordered the House Republican caucus to get it done, writing, quote, "Either impeach the bum or fade into oblivion. They did it to us." One of the most outspoken members of that caucus, Matt Gaetz of Florida, is now saying he doesn't even believe the House needs to vote to open an impeachment inquiry. And according to Marjorie Taylor Greene, Speaker McCarthy is apparently taking direction from Matt Gaetz and Donald Trump.
That leaves the decision to Kevin McCarthy ultimately. Are you confident he's going to go with the impeachment inquiry this fall in September?
I am confident, and the reason why I'm confident is we had a House GOP call yesterday, and that was his big push on the call. So I think if we were to have the vote today, right now, Kevin McCarthy would be one of the first ones to vote yes.
Now, there is just one small problem with this plan. Republicans have no evidence that Joe Biden committed a high crime or misdemeanor. You don't have to take my word for it. As one unnamed Republican lawmaker told reporters, quote, "There's just no evidence, and they can't impeach without that evidence. I don't think the evidence exists." Others have gone on the record with their concerns, including Don Bacon of Nebraska. Quote, "I think before we move to an impeachment inquiry, there should be a direct link to the president in some evidence." So they have no evidence, no facts, nothing to suggest the president committed any high crime or misdemeanor, but they're going to barrel ahead with an impeachment anyway. What could go wrong? David Jolly is a former Republican congressman of Florida, and he joins me now. What is your read of the calculus in the Republican House caucus and Kevin McCarthy on this?
I think this goes all the way back to the 15 votes to become Speaker, Chris. You know, I sat at the table with you during the Speaker vote, and I said I didn't think Kevin McCarthy would be able to get the votes to become Speaker, largely because I underestimated his willingness to sell the gavel to the MAGA crazy crowd. But it was apparent then that part of his corrupt bargain with his caucus was a willingness to impeach Joe Biden. He wouldn't come right out and say it, but we know that many in his caucus wanted to move towards impeachment. I believe Kevin McCarthy made that promise 8 or 9 months ago, and this has always been the plan. So he's headed there. But I think it also speaks broadly to the Republican Party politics, internal politics, even outside of the House, where they are convinced through Fox News and through just a Republican echo chamber that the Biden crime family is real. The problem is it requires this broad innuendo gap for them to jump from a complete lack of evidence to pinning it on high crimes and misdemeanors. The evidence isn't there, but Kevin McCarthy has shown us it doesn't matter. He will sell out the institution, sell out the country as well the second time around.
I want to be clear here, too, just to take a second on the evidence. I mean, it's not even that the evidence isn't there. The thing that they sort of speculate about, right, that they through hearsay and ... and someone told someone, is a wild accusation that this Joe Biden, as sitting vice president, was taking seven-figure bribes, okay? That no one has figured this out all this time. That this just happened and no one realized it. But also, and this is crucial, it has nothing to do with his current presidency. Like, it's all about, am I missing something? Like, there is no actual tangible thing on that they are even pretending to allege exists.
That's right. And in many ways, their allegations have actually been disproven, because at the heart of the Hunter Biden investigation that's been going on for 5 years, the Department of Justice, was this notion that somehow the influence peddling reached from the president's son to the vice president himself, and yet there was no evidence of that. If there had been, you better believe there would have been charges brought against the son on that and evidence about the president produced. None of that has been produced. And so, look, part of this is the elevation of this new group of Republicans that are devoid of ideology, and this is simply now a witch hunt caucus. We are seeing that, but the evidence just simply is not there, and they fall on their face every time they make an accusation.
Here's the thing about the politics of it. I remember, obviously, I was sitting at this desk for all through the Trump years and watching Nancy Pelosi often really slow walk impeachment. Al Green, member from Congress, was like, look, there's stuff right now, day one. And again, I think there were, I think on the emolument stuff, I think there were a number of places where they had plausible cases, right? The fact that he was clearly sort of cross-pressured and had conflict of interest as the sitting president. Put that aside. Pelosi's concern was about the politics of it. I just don't see the 10 most vulnerable House Republicans wanting to vote for a Biden impeachment. Maybe I'm crazy.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm wrong. But, like, I don't even think they have the votes for that, which is why I guess he's going to do the inquiry without the vote.
Well, and the easier vote is the opening the inquiry, right? Because even a moderate swing district, right? A Republican could say, well, we should at least go on a fact-finding expedition, even if they're ultimately a no. In this case, there aren't the votes even to open up the investigation. So, look, this will be an overreach should they pursue it. They are clearly doing it at the direction of Donald Trump to distract from Donald Trump. Chris, I served with Kevin McCarthy. He has always been a vacuous individual, never one deep in policy, always about the politics. He knows every congressional district. But I did not realize then how unprincipled he was. This is a manifestation of his lack of principles to say, I'm willing to shred the integrity of the House, to sell out all of the history of what you spoke of, the slow walking of Nancy Pelosi, to chase facts and be careful with the politics. He doesn't care about any of that. He cares about one thing: his grip on the gavel. And if he refuses to move towards impeachment, you better believe Elise Stefanik, waiting in the wings, will say, I would move towards impeachment if I was this.
Yeah, that's a great point. Really good point. David Jolly, thank you very much.